How the hell did we get into this wrestling in the first place?
It's Thursday. You know what time it is. Time for the hottest wrestling podcast on the planet. Beyond the Barricade with your hosts, Dollar Bill, the Cleaner, and the Brain. Let's get started.
All right. So next week we're gonna have a very interesting show where we have a whole little bit of an anniversary to end off our first season. But before that, we actually should get into something that's we always ask everybody. How the hell did we get into this wrestling in the first place? What's our origin? What's our origin story?
I'll be honest with you. My first true origin story was WrestleMania 3.
Okay.
My grandfather paid for the pay-per-view. I went to his house and I watched WrestleMania 3, and I was absolutely blown away by the athleticism. And of course, my favorite match of the whole show was the number 9 match on the card, Savage versus Steamboat for the Intercontinental title. That show, as said by Vince McMahon himself, stole the show. Yes, Andre and Hogan was the main event, but Savage and Steamboat stole the damn show.
Well proved. Sometimes the main event is not what steals the show.
Exactly.
Oh. Yes.
If anything, I think the main event was kind of lackluster.
There's plenty of times on record you can say the same thing. But yeah, WrestleMania 3, yeah, everybody remembers. I mean, even though Hogan and Andre was a very big match, wasn't the best match.
No. That was mainly because that Andre was towards the end of his career.
Yeah.
He had a lot of health problems. He had a lot of difficulty moving around. So Hogan did a good portion of the carrying on that match. You notice that Andre was near the ropes a lot of times for support. Very rare did you see him in the middle of the ring.
Yeah, and I think he's I think they said they was one of the few guys, maybe the only guy to actually have the cart take him back after losing.
No, that's not true.
No, not true? Okay.
Who else had that cart?
Savage did.
I
Savage
know
went back in the cart.
Losers?
Yeah.
Okay.
Savage went back and he was bent over the center rail in the cart. Because they had the cart designed like a ring.
Yeah.
They also had a bar in the middle. And he was bent over and Elizabeth was consoling him.
That's a one-time thing in wrestling that's never happened again, those carts.
Yeah, I know.
That is true. We have never seen those carts afterwards. Like even any other show never has anyone seen it except for that WrestleMania. Even even the outdoors, the whole other WrestleMania ones, like I forgot the one that had that Roman theme. Like that was
WrestleMania 9.
Thank you.
At Caesar's Palace.
Yeah.
But I mean, you could even talk about like the stadium shows today with SummerSlam and Royal Rumble, where they have just that little tunnel set up.
What a long.
How about the 2 times they were in Miami?
Yeah, you could say that. Or
those ramps were long.
When they were in Orlando last time.
Yes, Orlando
33, because that was the one time they didn't. So they usually have like the ramp like start like past the seating, but this time they actually used part of the stadium as seating, so they made the ramp even longer. And I remember just like watching guys come down, and it would take forever.
Yeah.
Imagine them running on those.
They actually did. They had an elevator in the middle of the ramp.
Yeah, for Taker.
Yeah. Go Taker. Oh, God. And the funny thing was, mine actually goes a little bit earlier than that. But for me, I didn't have pay-per-view when I was a kid. Like, we didn't do that. So I got the results usually from other kids because my older brother was into it more than I was. And I didn't really get into it until WrestleMania 2 was where I got into it. And the strange thing was that it was partially because watching WWF with my brother, and also now this is going to show how bloody old I am. UHF.
Ooh.
That
See, John knows. John knows UHF.
that does sound familiar.
Okay,
You
so he
remember when
basically
the
does not
TVs
know.
had the click dials,
The
Yes.
13 channels,
and then on
Yes.
the other you
that was
had
a
the
bomb set.
like 40 something
Yes.
channels on it?
14 to 83.
Yes,
Yes.
I remember that. Yes.
Now, see, that's how old I am because these young kids, they'd be like, "What's UHF?" And I
Yeah.
and I've said it too. They were like, "What is that?" I was like, "Oh my god."
Like even though I'm pretty much like very younger than you guys, I'm at that like that generation where it's the in between. So
Yeah,
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 they
you're
were
right at the
phasing
end
those out.
of the UHF era and
Yeah.
the beginning of the big time cable industry
Yeah,
oh
era.
yeah.
yeah. Like on UHF, I saw World Class Championship Wrestling, so I got to
Mm,
see Von Erichs and Freebirds. I also saw NWA, so I got to see like Sting and Garvin, and of
Okay,
course, Steamboat. And this is what made me laugh the hardest. I actually saw UWF.
yes, the original UWF,
Yeah,
yes.
hmm
that was the first time I saw Hacksaw.
Okay, try this one on
Oh,
for size.
Mm.
AWA.
Yep, channel
yes.
on WPI's channel 11 on Saturdays. Yeah.
Saturday afternoons, about 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Hmm.
AWA was on. That's one of the places I first saw Nick Bockwinkel
Hmm.
and
Yep, yep, yep.
Rick
Ganya's.
Martel.
Yes, Martel, definitely.
I think
Martel was
Macho started there.
I think at one point, but I don't remember seeing him in AWA. But I do.
Yeah.
no,
I think you're right, but I didn't see him.
he
I
was though
he was in
in his
AWA.
not for long, but
No.
he got his start in IWC,
Mm,
Ah,
International Wrestling Council,
yeah.
Inter, ICW, International
Yeah, wait.
Championship Wrestling,
isn't that
and that was owned and
Pittsburgh area?
operated. mm, I think that was down in like Tennessee somewhere,
Oh,
but
okay.
that was owned and operated by one Angelo Poffo,
Hmm.
Mm. Oh, the father, yeah.
his father, yes, and he was a tag team with his brother Lanny.
Mm.
I just did a quick wiki thing because I could do 500 searches, but let's just do the wiki. International World Class Championship Wrestling, which also originally known as International Championship Wrestling, started in '84, ended in '96.
Yeah, because if I remember right, by that time, that's when they merged with what was left of Memphis with Lawler. I think
Because
it was like the USWA, I think they merged it into.
yeah, because there were three headquarters, which is hilarious. Because the first headquarters was in Boston,
Mhm.
then they went to Parsippany, New Jersey,
Hmm.
and then they,
Okay,
and then they went to
interesting.
yeah, and then they went to Florida.
Hmm.
Yeah, and I'm looking
That's
at some
insane.
yeah, look some of the early rosters, and let's see. I know Butcher showed up. Soli was doing voiceover for some of the tapes. Puerto
Hmm.
Rican Championship was really down there. Brody showed up. Blackjack Mulligan,
Hmm.
and even
Yeah.
Kevin Sullivan, who books on the shows too.
Yeah, yeah.
The Taskmaster.
Hmm.
So I'm a little later than you guys. Obviously, I said I'm a little younger than you guys. So I didn't get into wrestling until like 99, 2000. And obviously, yeah, that was my grandfather as well. And we only watched WWF, even though WCW, ECW was on at the time. We only watched WWF because my grandfather, he's been, in the Hudson County area of New Jersey since the 50s or even
Mm.
40s before that. So he was going to shows at the Jersey City Armory, Madison Square Garden. Like he was supporting he was supporting the WWF since they were known as the Capital Wrestling Corporation. So
Ooh,
he's been very
Wow.
loyal to that.
now that's going
Um,
And
way back.
then they
and then
became WWF.
yep,
Remember
and
the
then
three W's, yeah.
WWF, and then WWE, and then that's when we got the infamous black box. So we were able to watch all the pay-per-views at that time
Oh
for free.
yeah.
And
Yes.
not only that, so not only were we watching Raw and SmackDown together, but we were also watching the early NWA TNAs that
That's
were Wednesday night on pay-per-views.
yes. Like the Bash, I remember. Um, I
It
know
was
I
like,
know the Bash was one of them.
I don't remember if they had names. I just remember them as
N-
NWA TNA
Starcade,
pay-per-view.
no, I also remember Starcade at one point too.
No, they didn't have Starcade.
Back
They
then?
had, like Bound for Glory, Destination X.
Oh, you were doing TNA. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, I'm talking about
I'm
NWA TNA.
I apologize. I went further back, a little
No,
farther back.
yeah, this
Yeah,
is
you're thinking NWA WCW.
Right, back in
yeah,
those days, because you said
or
black box, my brain
Mid
said,
Crockett or
yeah,
the Crockett Jim
Jim
Crockett
Crockett.
Promotions,
mhm.
Mid Atlantic is what I meant.
Yeah, Mid
Right.
Atlantic. Did you ever catch
Um,
Smoky Mountain?
I
Oh,
don't
that's
think
some
they
good
were
wrestling.
part of the NWA.
I've always heard so much
I
about him, but I
believe they
never
were.
catch him.
I believe Smoky Mountain was part of the NWA at one
Well, I
point.
mean, weren't they? I think they were with NWA after the breakup with WCW. Because weren't they like later? I don't remember them being around for like a long period of time.
Let's see.
But yeah, no, we were watching NWA TNA. So it was like every Wednesday night, it'd be live from the Nashville Auditorium before
Oh
they moved to
wow.
Universal.
Hmm.
Apparently apparently it was, you're right. It was formed after leaving WCW with Cornette,
Yeah.
but it only lasted for 4 years.
Yeah, it wasn't that. Wasn't long around because
Yeah.
I remember they were strictly a territory
Right.
and a lot of their stars would just move on to other places.
Hmm.
Like I know they got not rated, but a lot of their talent eventually ended up going to W or ECW. Like I
Mm.
Oh,
know the
definitely.
Gangsters, the Thrill Seekers, a number of talents that were at Smoky Mountain, especially in those early days, eventually moved on
Oh,
to ECW.
oh God, yeah. I can
Both
say
expresses were in Smoky Mountain at one point.
Yeah.
Holly was there, Jericho was there, Candido, Storm, Al Snow. Like, whoa. And even funnier, Glenn Jacobs.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Kane,
yeah.
Yeah, Kane.
do you remember what his name was in Smoky Mountain Wrestling?
That was when he was the Jolly Green Giant?
Nope.
Nope. It was
He was the
controversial figure.
Unabomb.
Oh, the
Hmm.
Unabomb, yes.
Controversial
Okay.
figure in the 90s.
That's when that I thought Unabomb was Memphis.
No,
Mm,
Smoky Mountain.
Mm.
yeah, that's
I've been
insane.
watching that show WWE Most Wanted Treasures,
Oh yeah, that's some
and I'm
good
catching
stuff.
up on season 1 right now.
Mm.
Hmm.
And one of the episodes they did was Undertaker and Kane.
Yeah.
They they found his Unabomb ring gear.
Wow.
He had the Unabomb ring gear. He had Kane mask number 2.
Yeah, it wasn't number one. I remember it was because like something had to do with the stitchings
Yeah,
on the
the stitching
cheekbone
and
right
the
here.
paint job on it.
Yeah.
That's amazing, man.
They also
See,
found the betrayal urn.
ooh,
Oh,
That was
yeah,
the one
that's
that they were looking for. The one that
nice.
Paul Bearer crowned the Undertaker with
yeah.
when he turned on Undertaker.
You mean Kane then?
No, he Paul
I
Bearer turned on the Undertaker
mm-hmm.
To
against Mankind.
yeah, to team up with Mankind.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because
Can I say
yeah, go ahead.
that show? I'm not that big of a fan of that show. Like I like the artifacts and the history behind it, but like I don't like how they kind of treat the people who own the memorabilia as like they're the bad guys for not selling it to WWE. Especially, I didn't like the top. I didn't know this, but Top Dollar, I think his name is.
Yeah,
He's
AJ
on the
Francis.
show. Yeah, I didn't realize they were the
He was
same
the host of
person.
the first season.
Yeah, I
Mm.
didn't realize that. So I'm like, yo, this guy's an asshole. He's like trying to guilt trip these people into giving them lowball offers. I didn't like it. But
That's
the archivist, uh,
Ben Brown.
Ben Brown. Yeah, oh, I love watching his videos and like
Hmm.
the like when they ever do a like a warehouse tour, I
Yeah,
love that. He is so knowledgeable, man.
yeah. Right now, I'm in the middle of watching the Andre the Giant episode,
Mhm.
and one of the key things that they're going after is Andre's passport.
Whoa.
How the hell are you gonna find that?
Somebody has it.
Wow.
Jeez.
They're working on the deal to get to it.
I was
And
watching
this is bring these episodes were from season one, so
yeah.
at least the the one person that they're going to be bringing in to help them get the passport from this guy is the is Tim White,
Whoa.
Andre's
Oh yeah,
road
this is before
manager
he
and best
passed.
friend. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was watching I think it was like a warehouse tour and they were showing off like the back brace that he was using towards the later end of
Hmm.
his career. You
Yeah.
see how huge it is.
Yeah, it is. It's
Wow.
absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
And
That's crazy.
you know who they got leading the charge on the Andre episode
Hmm.
aside from AJ Francis? The two
Show, right?
biggest the two biggest wrestlers in
Yeah.
WWE at the time, Big Show and Mark Henry.
I know
Whoa.
did they bring up in that episode because I haven't watched it in a while. Did they bring up the fact that in WCW show was billed as like Andre's son?
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, they brought that up. They actually they actually secured Big Show's singlet as a tribute to Andre to
Yeah,
go
yep.
next to Andre's singlet.
Yes, I remember that.
So,
Wow.
And I watched actually a video WWE actually produced a couple weeks ago, and they just went off like the entire history of like all the different like versions of the WWE championships. And like it's insane of some of the like the quality of those championships, those early championships,
hmm,
and just like some of the like the little known facts that he brings off. Like yeah, that was just a wonderful video. Although I
yeah.
stopped watching after the undisputed title.
I'll be
Yeah.
honest with you. Some of the titles that they had, some of the designs they had were absolutely hideous.
Oh yeah.
Um,
titles?
yeah, the for the
Oh,
WWF
come on.
title, the
Even those that early one with the one that Hogan won from Sheik, the
the green
green
belt.
strap, yeah, the green strap with like all the little side. It looks like the 24/7 championship.
Hmm.
Yeah, no, that one is not a good looking one.
But it was more square as far as the belt itself goes, as
Yeah,
far as the strap goes, and
Yeah.
it had the one big gold plate in the center
yeah.
and a couple of little smaller gold plates on the side.
Four of
You
them.
know,
Like two on each
he
side.
they said in that video between that belt and the winged eagle that Hogan eventually had later on, Hogan went through like 4 or 5 different designs for
Hmm.
that belt.
Yeah,
And
most
it's
iconic is
all
the one that's kind of goes like this
yeah,
at the
yeah,
top and
with
at the
all the
bottom.
different flags.
Yeah, that's the that's the one you remember most with Hogan.
Yeah.
Honestly, yes. And like that was the one I remember they had to make a bigger version for Andre should he want it.
Mm. Let me see.
Yeah, they did. They made a, but even then, Andre would have just held it over his shoulder.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no way. I see it here. I see this one here. You're right. That's the one I remember the most with the flags on the side.
Hmm.
I remember that
Yeah.
growing up.
Because like I remember seeing Hogan with the Winged Eagle and I'm like, no, that's cursed. Like
Yeah.
that's not a real image.
No, he had the winged eagle.
At one
Yeah,
It
no,
point.
I
was, and
remember
that
it.
was the way they introduced it to set up the tournament for WrestleMania 4.
Yes.
When Hogan got screwed in February of that year,
on the Saturday night's main event.
Yep, by
Mhm.
I
Bundy.
believe it was Dave Hebner.
Oh
That's
yeah,
when
the
they
whole ref.
introduced Earl. Yeah.
That, that's when they realized that they have twins as referees.
Oh, the
Dave
Hefners.
was the heel and Earl was the good, was the face.
Wow, I remember that.
I thought it was
So
the
do I.
reverse. I thought Dave was the good and Earl was
No,
the.
Dave was the heel.
Mm.
That was just so crazy saying that. And you think about it, it's like the twins. Like one's good, one's bad. Who do you trust?
Yeah.
How can you
Yeah.
tell the difference?
And that always
And
started
then
the
as soon as Andre won the match, he surrendered the belt to Ted DiBiase.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, the kayfabe president, Jack Tunney,
Oh
vacates the
God,
title and sets up the tournament.
I remember that. I
Did he have
remember
a
that.
role in the company outside of like that on-screen role?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
I don't remember, but
No, I don't know. I don't think so. Like, as far as I know, he was just a head figure. But damn. Ay, ay, ay. Now, I think also remember wrestling. Also, my earliest memories. I remember that regards to belts, because actually it's a two thing. I remember the first time I saw Santana and Valentine in a cage match where Santana had won, but Valentine had taken that belt, the Intercontinental belt at that time, and smashed it on the steel walls,
mhm.
cage, and just trashed it.
Oh, was it the Intercontinental title that Pat had
Yeah, I think
Pat Patterson?
yeah, it looked like
Or the
it
one that
was
Pedro Morales had,
Yeah, the one that they then
the
became
green
the
belt, the
iconic
green
one.
strap.
Yeah.
yeah, it was
Okay.
Yeah.
green. It was definitely green shark. 'Cause I remember like you saw like the main piece here in the middle
Yeah.
just limping off.
Explode.
Yeah, pretty much
Just
just limping
explode.
off. Yep. And then
Speaking
that's
of which, I just saw the Brutus and Valentine episode too.
Mhm.
And they
oh
actually showed the clip of him s smashing the belt and then throwing it and hitting Tito in the face with it.
oh Tito got such bad luck with the belt. I swear.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like either
he got screwed so many times over the belts, it wasn't even funny.
I don't know. It's like either
I
yeah,
mean, he had the Intercontinental belt, then he lost it to Savage. He had the
mhm.
tag team belts, and Martel walked out on him, and he got destroyed by Demolition.
Yes, I remember that one. The swerve. And then of course, he had the belt one from Valentine. Then Valentine said, "Screw you! I'm gonna rip the belt apart."
Yep,
And I swear he had no luck on belts.
and that's when they designed the classic Intercontinental belt.
Yeah, I remember that first one. I was like,
I got a
"Oh
question for
wow!"
you guys.
Ask away.
Okay.
So we were talking about our earliest memories. What was the first ever wrestling show you attended live?
Oh, there's two memories for me because it's a little tricky. I'll go
Hmm.
with my first. So this was sometime in Madison Square Garden. I want to say 88,
Hmm.
87, 88, give or take. One of my older brother, and the only thing I can barely remember was the British Bulldog as one of the main events. And I
Mm.
remember that because I actually reached out and slap him a high five. And I hit his back, and as a kid, I was just like, "Ow!" His back was hard,
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, like damn, it's real. But but it's like I said, it's a broken memory because I don't remember much else about that. I had a good seat, but I just don't remember
Hmm.
much. The first live show is going to be Jersey All Pro back in I want to say it's definitely 2000s. It was actually in Sayreville.
Hmm.
And I remember because the first time I saw Loki, the one time I was seeing Loki, and then the hospital was doing the run at the end of the show.
Mm,
That's what I
okay.
remember. So that was my first live show.
Okay. First live show I ever attended was a local production in Jersey City, and it was run by a guy named Joe Napolitano. He was
Mm.
a wrestler. He was known as Smoking Joe. He had a whole no, he
I
had
know.
a whole fireman's uh
Oh, that's
persona.
Gimmick.
smoking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He literally, do you guys remember the helmets with the battery operated light on the top?
Oh
The fire
gosh,
helmets that
yes,
Yeah.
kids would
yeah.
wear with the battery operated light on top.
Mm-hmm.
He actually wore that to the ring.
Oh God.
But I'll tell you, they pulled in some big names for that show. I saw at least 3 WWE Hall of Famers at that show.
I think
What year was
so.
this, you say?
I saw JYD.
Mm-hmm.
This had to be
It had to be in the 80s. I wouldn't say like maybe it
had to
had
be
to.
87, 86, 87,
Yeah.
Oh wow.
and it was at Dickinson High School.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that hellhole.
It was at Dickinson
Yeah.
High School. And JYD was there. Mr. Wonderful was on the
Mm-hmm.
card. And I believe uh, Greg Valentine was on the card.
Okay.
Mm,
It's like
So 3 WWE Hall of Famers on the show.
wow.
yeah.
And it was a great show.
The simple
So
things.
yeah. So my first show ever I attended in person was a WWE house show,
Mm.
2006. It was maybe a couple of
Wow.
days after Christmas. It was the Christmas live shows
The
that they
holiday tour.
yeah, the loop that they do here. And so we had gotten there right at the end of the first match, which I don't know who they faced, but all I know is Crime Time won.
Mm.
And yeah, there were several matches that night. I remember Kali did a segment with Maria Kanellis.
Oh, of course.
Um, the three matches that I remember specifically, one was Jeff Hardy versus John Morrison it was a ladder match for the IC title.
Mm-hmm.
Then the co-main event was Degeneration X and Ric Flair versus Rated RKO and Kenny Dykstra.
Oh
And the
God.
main event was John Cena defeating Umaga in a match that was eerily similar to their Royal Rumble match. I think they were just practicing it for the Royal Rumble.
Uh,
But yeah, no, I remember it being eerily similar to that match.
Very possible. Very possible.
It's
Very
very
interesting.
possible.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe it's a good idea of some of the house shows where they demonstrate, where they basically try out a couple things and they get enough reaction, they'll just
yeah,
incorporate to the main events.
Yeah,
yep,
exactly.
yep. I speaking about that, I remember one time it was me and Brain. We went to a NXT house show in Tom's River the night before the NXT Takeover Philly show.
Yes.
And
Whoa.
one of the matches on the card was Red Dragon versus Authors of Pain. And I remember that match being spot for spot the same as their takeover match, with the exception of like a little finish change. But
Still
more or
though, that's
less, the
pretty
match
freaking
was
sweet.
exactly the same.
Hmm. I
And that
remember
was
that.
you also remember where you got me yelled at by Bobby Fish?
Yeah.
Bobby Fish is walking up because we had aisle seats. So we were right on that aisle, and
Oh.
Bobby Fish is walking up the ramp, and Brain goes, "You suck, Bobby," and he turns around and he sees me clapping for him, and he says my beard is stupid, and I'm like, "Bruh, I'm supporting you."
Right? Like, no, you weren't.
And I
And
was
then
in
of
like an
course
Adam Cole
we also
shirt
ran
too.
into our buddy Eddie at the show.
Yes, yes, we did. And you were also able to get a pic with Kyrie Sane and Johnny Gargano.
No, I didn't get Carrie Singh. I got Johnny Gargano though. But
I thought you
just as
know,
I
yeah,
took
I thought you got Kyrie.
no, I didn't get Carrie.
Then who'd you get
Johnny.
besides Johnny?
That was it.
Oh wait, no, I remember.
And just as I took the picture, somebody bumped me and came out all blurry. He was
Yes,
holding my Intercontinental belt.
I also remember somebody you tried to get Kyrie, but the picture got corrupted or something.
Yes.
Yeah, so
Wow.
you did try to get a picture with her, and
Yeah.
like you did pose together with her, but something happened to the pitcher. I remember that.
Yeah, it
Damn.
came out so blurry you couldn't even see who it was.
Yes,
Uh,
But at
yes,
least with the
that was
Johnny
another
Gargano
thing I
one, you could
remember.
actually
Yeah,
tell it's him.
yeah. The problem was back then you didn't have too much technology to really unblur that. Now you
yeah,
can, but even then,
yeah.
it's like it's still a pain.
Those were tough times 5 years ago.
Yeah, absolutely hard,
I got,
absolutely unacceptable. The
no
amount of
Yep.
way.
the lack of technology back then.
I'm going further back because I was remembering with JBW doing doing pictures on the floppy disk, and I showed a couple of people, and they became photographers that way. I just shake my head like I'm
Yeah.
always showing people shit like
Yeah.
this, and but I'm glad they took it and ran with it instead of just took it and then doing nothing with it. That's actually a
Yeah.
good thing.
Speaking
Man.
of Jersey All Pro, we had some great times going to those shows.
Oh God, yes.
I wish I could have been on those early shows, man.
Oh man,
Yeah.
I'll tell you, one of the best matches I ever saw was on the undercard of the 19th anniversary show. And it was Matt Sydal
Mhm.
against AJ Styles.
Mm. Wow.
19.
Or no, 18, I'm sorry. 18th
Yeah.
anniversary show.
No, yeah, because I wasn't able to see that one.
That was a great, great match.
Yeah,
Man.
no, that's a match that headlined an ROH show that during that time.
Hmm.
And to throw
But
that on
that,
the undercard? Was
mhm.
AJ IWGP champ at the time?
He might have been. I think he was at the time. He also had the
Yeah.
short hair.
Yeah, yeah,
He
yeah.
didn't have the soccer mom look.
Yeah. That's when he was starting to have it. Like he was starting to grow it out.
Yeah. But the
Yeah,
main
no.
event on that show was Low Key versus Rey Mysterio.
Ooh,
Ooh.
that's a very big matchup.
Yes, it was.
Oh man, I'm just looking at some of the past episodes here, some past of shows I've watched. I gotta say, thank goodness for WB / Peacock and whatnot, just for getting our
Hmm.
hands on some of these old shows, so we
Yeah,
could take a look
definitely.
at them. Study and look at them and see what worked, what didn't work, and just say, what the f were they smoking?
Yeah,
That's the way to put it.
because wrestling was a much different animal back
Oh
then.
gosh, yeah. Like
Yeah.
you didn't have too many high flying crazy stuff. That was over in Japan. You didn't really have. You had some of the brutal, like not this brutality that was coming later with with the ECW, and even with the Big Japan stuff. That was coming later. You just had pretty much simple, good old fashioned slobber knocking fists and
Yeah.
slams,
Oh
and
yeah,
then the
Nice,
strange
nice,
rules
good
like
old fashioned Pier 6 brawl.
yeah, but the thing I never liked was the strange rules of you throwing over the top rope, you get disqualified. I was like,
Oh
what
yeah, the
the hell?
WCW
I
rule.
hated that rule. I
I
hated that
hated
rule.
that rule too.
that was an
Uh,
old school rule. Yeah, from like the
uh,
territorial days.
Yeah.
that was just ridiculously garbage. I booed my TV so many times.
Yeah, I know, really. Gotta throw him between the ropes, otherwise you get disqualified.
And then it almost got like over the top rope. It's like, oh, he did it on purpose,
Yeah,
bitch.
and then like one thing I don't understand, like now I don't understand why they still do it, but the top rope, the wrestlers start counting to get them down. It's like everybody goes to the top rope nowadays. That rule is no longer in fact.
Yeah, I
It's
know.
still isn't at the same time.
Yeah,
It's like weird. Because there
like
were times I've seen them go to top rope and they still had the count. And even though you had some guy had a high, I don't want to say high flyers, but the guys who had their body presses as finishers,
yeah,
they still counted. It's like remember, it's only valid when the script calls for
yes, yep.
Yes, exactly.
it. Well, that
And
All
kind of
right,
that's
guys.
a
So next week, our season finale,
yep,
yes, season 1, we made
we
it.
we take a look back at our favorite production, our favorite promotion that we've all enjoyed over the years, Jersey All Pro Wrestling.
Mm-hmm. Props to them for a lot of things.
Yeah. They put on some absolutely epically banging shows.
Mm-hmm.
It's
yes,
amazing that some of the buildings they participated in are still standing. I
Or
mean,
they turn
the
or they turn
one is the Jersey the rec center, the Rahway Rec Center.
Mm.
Yep.
Man, some of the pops that came out of that building, it's amazing that it's still standing.
Boom.
You know, Jersey All Pro launched the careers of so many talent.
Yes,
Oh, we
indeed.
saw a lot of talent coming in there.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
And to see him on TV was just, oof, you know, you just
Yeah, to
hit you
see him
here.
on TV now. Like,
Yep.
even like one name I'll bring up is very more recent is Keith Lee.
Mm.
Yes.
Right? He came to Jersey All Pro. I helped him out on a autograph line, and he shook my hand. Was a total professional. And to see him on
Hmm.
TV now, like just showing the world how good he is,
Yeah.
it warms your heart.
He's very good for a big man. He's very agile.
Very good for a wrestler, let alone being a big man and all
Yeah.
that.
And I'll throw another name out there too, real quick. Jay Lethal. I used to give him
Yes,
rides to Elizabeth
Oh,
a few
please.
times.
Jay Lethal is one of the stalwarts of Jersey All Pro.
Oh,
yes.
I just remember one of his first times in the school when he was training.
Hmm.
And I knew
School,
that kid. Yeah, we'll call it school.
school.
But it was still
Well, no,
training.
it was a school.
Yeah, it's still training though, regardless. I saw him
Yep.
take the training and saw him take it seriously. And I was like, dude, this kid's gonna
Yes,
go far. I knew
Yeah.
from
yes,
there. Yeah.
and especially because it was their version of Tough Enough.
Yes,
Yes, indeed.
indeed. So to elaborate further on more memories, John, please do so.
The one of the best guys that come out of Jersey All Pro definitely has to be Loki.
Mhm.
Yeah,
He's been all over the world.
yes,
Oh
he
yeah.
has. I
Another
mean,
one,
hell,
Homicide.
Homicide for sure.
yeah. One name I could bring up to help launch his career after being released from a developmental deal, Kenny Omega.
Mm,
Yes,
The stuff he
definitely.
was doing in Jersey All Pro, maybe it
Hmm.
doesn't get him signed in Japan.
Yep,
exactly.
definitely.
So let's wrap this up.
Yeah, one of us is going to definitely have to keep the roster up next week so we could talk about all
Yes.
the guys who came through Jersey All
Yeah,
Pro.
we're gonna need like a Hall of Fame list at this point. But who do we have then? How are we gonna do this real quick?
I believe we're going to have Kane Angel. We're going to try and get Magic back on the show again. And I'm trying to get Jeff and Larry Legend.
Nice.
I'm working on all four of them to get them on the show.
All right.
But
Well,
definitely next, whether we have them on the show or not, we have plenty of memories to talk about with Jersey All Pro.
indeed. Even some stuff to sort through.
Yes, indeed.
All right then. So to wrap this up, we will definitely catch you guys next Thursday for our special anniversary. Till then,
Too sweet.
too sweet. Bye y'all.
Take care.